Hello, my name is Jade Jose Rodriguez Cosme, and I will present to you asthma and the problems with its lifestyle. Well, more like the problems with asthma. Asthma, a chronic disease which the airways are swell and narrow and produce extra music, which makes it difficult to breathe for people. I myself have been diagnosed with asthma at a young age and have been suffering from it for a while now. Less over the years, but still the less I have experienced asthma firsthand and the dangers and the lifestyle of having asthma. And and these are the lifestyles which you cannot basically not have while having asthma. Genes are a big part of this asthma. I myself had, my father had it, and my mom's grandfather also had it. So like kind of mixed in, gave it to me. It happens through generations. Sometimes it skips, not, and sometimes it doesn't. As well as age is a big part. Most bizarre thing to me that I learned through this is every asthma patient that suffers more critically has been through the ages of 9 and 6. Most people are diagnosed with asthma at that age as well. I was diagnosed later on when I was 11, as well as being just already just transitioning to just thinking I didn't have it. When I found out I had it, it was pretty devastating, not fun. It was exasperating, if you may say. As well as pets. Fluffy friends have been really hard to have for me because dogs, cats cause too much like either pollen or hair goes and then just gets into my airways or just causes like me to have allergies or something, and just my lungs breathing just goes boom, instantly just shut down, start having an asthma attack and just harder to breathe. Tobacco and alcohol, obviously those are bad in general and you shouldn't be doing them, especially if you're diagnosed with asthma. But I guess in a social standpoint, as an adult, drinking is super casual and normal. Same as smoking. But with as someone diagnosed with asthma, it's kind of harder to commune or just relate to other adults when you have like that high of a chance of risk when you have asthma. Either way, you shouldn't be smoking in the first place. Cleaning and disinfectants, that's been a big thing for me as well because bleach, Clorox, or alcohol wipes. Alcohol wipes are good, but stronger ones do cause irritation, just annoyance when it's hard to breathe, harder to clean, makes me dizzy, just cold, like my lungs just super irritated and swell a lot. Ooh, as well as, oh yes, big part. Minorities do suffer a lot with asthma. Unfortunately, we do not have, or most likely, people do not care that much about minorities in the healthcare system that they have to go through. Because unfortunately, we don't have what other countries have. Well, free healthcare and stuff might be a good thing, but for us, I don't know. Other countries do suffer from this as well, but our country suffers a lot with asthma and just not being able to treat minorities or lower income neighborhoods because it is a super treatable disease and people can survive it a lot of the times. I did, yes. But the problem is the payments, asthma pumps, even those old machines all do cost a lot, and it's not really super accessible for people in lower income or just minorities in general. Most fatalities or from asthma or just like people, most deaths or casualties are just minorities of the lower class that couldn't afford to pay for an asthma pump like this one. This is mine from when I was younger. It is retired now, but it still works, and I will demonstrate how it works. You just remove the tab, shake it up a bit. Some people do, some people don't, and just simply breathe in, and that's it. And then just keep the air out. Some people do double pumps and stuff, um, and just basically like that. I was born in the 2000s, so we had an older machine that I had to wear and sit there, super loud and annoying. But it was all we had because these things weren't accessible where I was from, and I don't think they were invented yet. I don't know. Pretty sure they weren't. In recent years, we have discovered that mental health and chronic diseases have been correlated to each other. Basically, like in recent years, this has been more apparent, but with a infectious disease that has been going on, with the recent pandemic, people have been realizing more often that uh, just how dangerous people with chronic diseases or just other infectious diseases have to go through. The anxiety, the chaos that happened in during this pandemic was definitely hard for most people, a lot of people, honestly. And I handled it okay. Well, it was pretty lonely and isolating, but yes, we have been working on. People have been working on these things like since 1940s, back even farther back, like to correlate these two and just get the help these people need. Because honestly, suicide and asthma do have a big correlation. Studies have shown that people with asthma get like their mental health lowers as soon as you're just diagnosed. People start being more isolating and just less movement in their body, causing more chronic diseases like obesity or just like lowering like health and stuff. Just not a healthy lifestyle. And out of like 11.4, 11.1, 4.3, 1,000 of those like were per year just asthma patients that have died, even though the deaths weren't like natural influential or natural deaths, and there were a lot of them were caused by suicide, which we need to improve mental health for like just in general for people suffering from asthma, because the lifestyle that asthma just brings. From personal experience, I had to quit baseball. I just uh, baseball, basketball, just outside activities, just messing around with friends or just going around just for a jog. It was harder for me. I couldn't keep up with my teammates in baseball, so I decided to like leave that. Same with basketball, I couldn't play with like my local neighborhood kids. Things really didn't like go the way people wanted them to, and it's just lowered. And myself, I just isolated myself, and then just didn't go well for me. I learned years later on that I could go through it. I paced myself, but it took a long time for me to just move forward like that, and just without mental health care. I probably would have been better if we improve mental health care, which we should for younger teens suffering from asthma or any chronic disease in general. And we should just focus on just improving healthcare with this lifestyle specifically, so we can lessen suicide rates for people, especially since the correlation of asthma patients and suicide has been definitely confirmed, and just the numbers are there. These numbers don't lie. And in conclusion, asthma is a chronic and dangerous disease. It is curable though. It swallows your intestines a lot. It's definitely from experience. It is in direct correlation with just suicide and isolation, and depression as well. Super big. And from speaking from experience, yes, it is big on depression, and especially for lower income neighborhoods, as I mentioned before. With age, it doesn't really affect because you're younger and you don't really understand that much. But for minorities or younger ages going through it, it does hurt, and it is a serious problem, especially with age and stuff. I say the biggest problem we have with asthma and lifestyles with asthma is probably the alcohol and smoking. Older adults think that just it's gone, it's just like not there, but because they haven't had an attack in a while. But then years of smoking and alcohol lessens your lungs worse, and just after years, your lungs will collapse. And in conclusion, that is my presentation, and these are my sources that I've used, and they have all been checked and cited and confirmed to be useful sources. If you want to use any of these sources to get some help for anyone that has asthma or is suffering from just suicide, um, or just bad thoughts, I would suggest any of these. And yes, this has been my presentation.